Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today we're going to be taking a look at Fairy Tail volume 46 from Hiro Mashima, which is the continuation of the Tartaros arc. And oh my goodness, man, this series just gets better and better. I mean, I love it, man. We saw in the last volume where Lucy made the ultimate sacrifice to save all her friends, and that she destroyed Aquarius's key to summon the Celestial Spirit King. And then an epic battle with the Celestial Spirit King versus Mard Gear, and he destroyed the Pluto's Grim, which, turned all our friends, Natsu and the whole gang back to normal. And he actually turned Mard Gear to stone, but we'll see that's not going to last for long. And then, because Lucy sacrificed Aquarius, she was given the powers of Aquarius, and she had like this whole transformation scene, and she single-handedly defeated Jackal, and it was just awesome, man. And then at the end of the volume, Tarafazar showed up again, and he's like, oh, Jackal has failed us. And he's going in for the killing blow, because Lucy's all out of magic power. And then one by one, you had Gajiel come in and save the day, and then another Demon Gate showed up, and then Juvia showed up, and then another demon, and then Gray, and then another demon, and then finally Natsu. And he's like, you did it, Lucy, you saved the day, I'm all fired up. So this volume picks up where we left off, of course. And keeping with the trend, where all the volumes have a character on the cover where the story revolves around them. Like in volume 44, we had Wendy. In the last volume, we had Lucy. And in this volume, the story primarily focuses on Gray and Juvia. And you can see the matchups right there. Juvia is going to take on Keys and Gray Silver. And we'll finally get the whole revelation about those two, which you can see right there. And it kind of spoils it with the title. Chapter 397, Tartaros Arc Part 4, Father and Son. Well, there you go. So here they all are. That's Lucy, of course, she's lying down, and then it's 4 versus 4. You got Tempester, Tarafazar, Keys, and Silver, and then Natsu, Juvia, Gajiel, and Gray. And Juvia does this thing right here. The same perfume as Gray-sama, referring to Silver. And they all choose their opponents. Silver grabs Gray, and they run off, and everyone else is fighting. You got Natsu versus Tempester, because he uses fire magic. Gajiel versus Tarafazar, because, Gajiel's the Iron Dragon Slayer, and this guy has, like, steel arms. And then that just leaves Juvia versus Keys. So all the matchups are set, and Natsu, let's go! So, I love it, man. So then it cuts over, because what happened was Mard Gear used the Allegria Curse, which basically morphed all the heroes here to the walls of the cube, and the cube turned into this thing called the Pluto's Grim, which was a demon in and of itself. But the Celestial Spirit King destroyed the Pluto's Grim, and now our heroes are back to normal and sort of separated. All their previous group, because Happy was with Natsu and Lucy before, but they all got separated. So Happy runs into Panther Lily, and he has a mushroom on his head, and he's like, I can't take it off, Lily, can you help me? Oh, I'll rip it right off there, Happy. And he can't rip it off. But it turns out that the mushroom is actually Franmouth, who was defeated, but, he still survived, and he's latched on to Happy's life energy. So you got Kana's group over here, and then Makarov is making his way back to the rubble of the guild hall, because, remember, the soul of Master Hades appeared and said, tell Makarov to release the light. So he's trying to figure out if he should do it or not. So elsewhere, we had Wendy and Carla defeat Azel and the destroyed Face. And they were willing to sacrifice themselves because someone had to stay behind for Face to properly be destroyed. And they were both willing to do it. And then Dorenbolt showed in at the last minute because he has teleportation magic. So he swooped in there and saved both Wendy and Carla. And they're so happy that they're back together. And, then we got this guy talking about multiple faces. And just as this is going on, Dorenbolt reveals, you may have destroyed one of the faces, but there's many more where that came from. And we'll go back a minute, because just look at the horror in Wendy's eyes. Like, what do you mean? No, it took that much work to destroy one. And how many we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like 10 right there. But there's many more. There's like over 200, I think they say later on in the volume. That wasn't the only face. Oh, sorry, not 200. There's 2,000. Oh, shit, we're screwed. And yeah, so the Celestial Spirit King turned Mard Gear into stone before he left. But you see, this is like the boss of the arc. So he's breaking free. And he'll be ready for his retribution. So in Wendy's battle against Azel, you can kind of see it right there. With his swords, he actually cut part of her hair off. So, to show that she's matured a little. I'm not going to whine. I won't cry either. Everyone else is fighting, so I'm not going to give up. And she cuts the rest of her hair there. So, in an effort to show how determined she is, I suppose. So yeah, everyone else broke free from the Allegria curse, and they resumed their battles. We have Urza versus Neo Minerva, who's turned into like a sort of demon, I suppose. And they're doing their battle here. Minerva's still salty from losing the Grand Magic Games. And it cuts here, which they could have expanded more upon this. I feel like this is kind of rushed, but it cuts over here to, Minerva's origins with her asshole father, Ziema, the former master of Sabretooth, where he sent her into the woods, and he said, don't cry any more tears. You'll stay out here until you've cried your last tear. Otherwise, you're not coming home. So she had to fend for herself in these woods for God knows how long until she was allowed back home. And that broke her as a person and sort of turned her into the evil person she is. But just like I said, it's only 2 pages. So I feel like they could have expanded upon it more. Because right at this moment, Urza's just wailing away at her. And Minerva says, I accept defeat. You must kill me with those fists. And Urza's like, no, I can't kill you. There's people waiting for you. You have friends. You have family. And with that, Minerva turns over a new leaf until this asshole shows up. He broke from the stone. And here he is holding the book of END. And he's, oh, you humans, you're all just about life and death. And oh, your pride, you're so pitiful. And they're like, oh, shit, what's this guy doing here? So he's ready to attack. Both Minerva and Urza are pretty weak from their battle, just attacking each other. When all of a sudden, just in the nick of time, we're cutting it close, huh? And would you look at that? It's Sting and Rogue along with Lecter and Frosch. We're here to rescue the princess. Your guild is Sabretooth. And with that, like I said, we got the 2 pages expanding upon Minerva's backstory, how she was abused by her father. And Urza saying, you got friends, and then Sting and Rogue come in to rescue her. And, they haven't seen each other in months because after the Grand Magic Games, they all sort of went their own ways. And Sting is the new master of Sabretooth. But here he is, welcoming her with open arms. You're the princess. And she starts crying, so that's a nice scene. So with that, what happens is they're going to go face Mardgeir. They tell Urza to take Minerva and the Exceeds, the 2 cats, Lecter and Frosch, and figure out a way to stop Face and, end this battle once and for all. So now there's 3,000? Holy shit, I thought Dornbull just said there was 2,000. Now there's 3,000. And he says, you have 1 hour. They'll all go off and you'll all be destroyed. Well, they won't be destroyed, but they'll lose their ability to use magic. That's what it's all about, because Tartaros uses curses, and our heroes all use magic. So they're fighting Mardgeir. And Frosch wants to stay and fight, and it's like, no, dude, you're not going to stay and fight. We're going to take you with us and figure out a way out of this. So it cuts back to them fighting, and, Sting is the white holy dragon, and Rogue is the shadow dragon, so they're using their blasts. But it's really no match for them. You see the shocked look in their faces. And this guy, too, he's holding the book of END and just using one hand for his magic abilities. So, again, showing how OP he is. And look at the anger on their faces. You hurt our friend! So it cuts over here to Silver and Gray and their battle, where they're going to go one-on-one here. And Gray is acknowledging that his voice and face are so familiar. Like, who exactly are you? They remind me of something that you're not. Who the hell are you? And he's making that expression. And then you get this page right here, which we kind of already know. I mean, let's be honest. We know from the title of the 1 chapter, some of the comments they've made. But here you definitely get the confirmation, because this is Gray's father. Remember, Gray's whole origin was that his parents were killed by the demon Deliora, who is a demon from the Book of Zareth. His mother and father died, and he was taken in by Master Orr and taught ice magic. And you see his father right here with the scar on his face, and then those earrings. Look at the earrings. Look at the scar on the face. So they've been dropping subtle hints, but we all know. Then we get this great drawing of the whole guild. And this is where Silver says, you've probably already guessed, but I am your father. Oh, that's not true. How could you? And they start battling. And, Gray is an ice make wizard, but Silver is what's called an ice... They called it Ice Devil, Slayer early in the earlier volumes, but in the back here they actually say it's a mistranslation, and he's really an Ice Demon Slayer, and that makes more sense because his guild is full of demons, not devils, so a little bit of a translation error in the previous volumes. But, you know, similar to Natsu, if someone uses fire magic, Natsu just gobbles it up and it replenishes his magic. So if Gray uses ice magic, it just makes Silver stronger. So, you know, they're trying. And then it cuts over here to the rest of the other heroes, you know, Natsu, Gajil, and Juvia fighting. And again, they're going up against the strongest foes they've faced yet, all these demons. So, actually what happens here is, you know, they're holding their own, and Lucy's like, oh, I gotta help, get some rest, we're just fine. And then Gajil says, besides, my nose is telling me something. This smell, it's gotta be them. So they can smell that Sting and Rogue are here, so they're like, reinforcements are on the way. So, you know, Mardgeir is taunting them some more. And then Urza, Minerva, and the two Exceeds run into Happy and Panther Lily. And Urza's, oh, Happy, Lily, it's so great to see you. And, you know, Minerva, because she's a demon, and has been working with Tartarus for a little bit, sees the mushroom on Happy's head, eyeing it down, and just yanks the thing right off his head. Ah, that hurts. And Minerva says, oh, it's friend mouth, what are you doing? That's our princess, way to go, princess. So, continuing the battle with Gray and Silver, and he says that this body was just, he found it lying around, and he's using it as a vessel, because he's not really his father, it's just convenient, and he's really a demon, and who he truly is Deliora. Don't you remember me, Gray? I love this shot, dude, with, just like his armor is so badass, absolute zero, and, you know, you see sort of the fangs and everything. And he makes the case that he's Deliora, right? And the horror in Gray's eyes, just remembering that tragic event from when he was so young. And, you know, Deliora has been the bane of his existence. Killed his parents, killed Master Orr, and just all sorts of crazy stuff through all the years. So, what Silver says is, you know, he's going to seek his revenge and kill the last of Orr's clan. And then Gray's face. And then it cuts over here to Keys talking to Juvia. The story of the boy Gray draws to a close this day. And Juvia's face, what did you say? Look at this, man. Just these illustrations of their faces, just so good. I see what shall pass. He will fall into despair in the face of a calamitous power once again. I foresee the disciple choosing the path his master followed. So, or she sacrificed herself to save Gray. And that's what Keys is telling Juvia. Deliora! But again, he's using ice magic, but it has no effect on him. And that's just what Silver says. But you get this cold Excalibur, which he gets this ice sword, but, you know, Silver just eats the whole thing, just like Natsu does. When will you learn? So Keys is talking about, you know, he's telling Juvia the deal here that, you know, he's actually an Ice Demon Slayer, and he just thought it'd be fun to have him as part of the guild. You know, why would you have an Ice Demon Slayer? But Keys is sort of pulling the strings, as you're going to learn in a few pages here, about what his role in this is all about. So, Gray is getting his ass kicked here. Just look at this. Ice just in his whole body. I mean, holy shit, man. Which I kind of question this because, you know, I understand that Silver is a higher rank and he can absorb the ice, but Natsu can absorb all sorts of fire attacks, so how come Gray can't absorb ice attacks? I don't know. A little bit of a nitpick, but overall, great artwork and a great story. So again, Gray is just getting his ass kicked, and he's just thinking to, you know, his father and happier thoughts. And look at this, man. Just blood gushing out of his chest. I'm taking you down if it's the last thing I do. Fat chance of that. Ice don't work on me. Ice make cannon! And he's firing this cannon, and, you know, it hits him right in the face because what he does is it's not actual ice. Like, he's using the ice to power the cannon, but it's a rock, it's rubble that hits him, so it actually does some decent damage to him. So what Silver does is he freezes all these cannons here so that Gray can't try that stunt again. And, you know, Gray is acknowledging that this ice is the same ice that froze the Village of the Sun a few volumes ago. And, you know, Gray was able to harness that power before, so he's trying to do it again. Ooh, did I go too fast? Oh, yeah, I went too fast. So we got this page right here. I'm getting rid of you once and for all. Look at this, man. So awesome. And does nothing to Silver. Like, you see how he just blocks the attack? So it cuts back over here to Wendy, Carla, and Dorenbold saying, we got to make our way back. We got to help the others. Let's go. All right, let's go, Wendy. So we get that little thing just to let everyone know that they're on their way. And then Juvia not doing so well against Keys. And then back to Gray and Silver, where Gray is just getting demolished here. He's just getting kicked, blood spitting out of his mouth. Not looking good. So what happens is Gray assumes the position to do Ice Shell. He takes the stance, and the shock in Silver's eyes, like, what? And while this is going on, you know, he was just taunting Gray, saying, like, oh, your Ice Magic won't do anything. But he makes a shocked look like Ice Shell. But if, you know, Ice Magic's not doing anything, then Ice Shell shouldn't have any effect, right? And Silver's like, you're bluffing. Why would you sacrifice yourself? And Gray says, well, I'm gonna try. I got the guts to let me try it. I will beat you, Deliora. And he's ready to do it. Ah, stop that. And you see right here, you know, Silver's trying to cancel out his attack, and Gray's right behind him, right? Because this is just an illusion. He makes himself into like an ice sculpture, and that's the real Gray right behind him. And just before you think he's going to use Ice Shell, you get reminiscence of Natsu and all his friends. You know, there's Lucy, Wendy, Urza, Elfman, Mira Jane, Gajiel, Kana, Leon, Orr, and then even Juvia, Gray-sama. Ice Shell! And the horror in Silver's eyes. Ice don't work on me! I can defeat Ice Shell! And you see Gray's right behind him, and he's like, that's an ice sculpture? What do you mean? And Gray was able, with the distraction there of the ice sculpture, you know, distracting Silver, he was able to find a cannonball in the rubble there. You saw those cannons before. You got a single cannonball, an iron ball. Where'd you get that? And look at this, ice make. He's putting ice all around his arm there. Bam brace! And he throws a fucking cannonball right through Silver's chest. Look at this, man. Holy crap. And he's down for the count. And as he falls down, Silver says, nicely done. Damn it. You thought I wouldn't notice? But why, damn it? You ain't Deliora. You are my dad, right? Yup. And Silver says, you know, finish me off, son. You really are my dad. I've been waiting for you to do this. You're right. I was your father. Make note of that. It's not I am your father. I was your father. But I ain't human anymore. Not a demon either. I'm a dead man. I've been dead 17 years now. And this fucker here, Keys, the necromancer, has been the one pulling the strings here, reanimating his corpse after all these years. And because of that, you know, what Silver's been trying to do for these 17 years in the ranks of Tartaros is slowly take out these demons, because he's an ice demon slayer. And what he tells Gray here is exactly that. He wants to get his revenge on the demons, and he was going to do it until he actually saw Gray at the Grand Magic Games. And because he's been with Tartaros for all these years, you know, he's killed innocent people. And by realizing that his son was still alive, he says his hands were too dirty to seek his revenge, and that Gray has to do it. He's going to transfer his power over to Gray. So, just a really tragic scene right here. He starts crying. The two of them start crying. And, oh my God, just a beautiful scene right here. This whole volume is incredible. The whole story between Gray and Silver was so good. And Silver tells Gray, just finish him off. And he summons the Cold Excalibur sword again. And, you know, Gray says, I gotta protect my guild, I'll do it. I know, but I just can't kill you. And the tears running down Gray's face and the tears running down Silver's face. He drops the sword. Damn it. I'm so sorry. And the two of them hug each other. Oh my god, just such a tragic scene right here. Because, yes, Silver has killed innocent people working with the demons, but he was trying to do it for a noble cause to seek his revenge. Like, you sort of have to weasel your way into the guild and you know, do what you can to continue working with them. And they hug each other. And, oh, just beautiful, man, beautiful. So, if you recall, I think this was back in volume 42, when this whole arc was getting started. You know, Silver was being summoned by the other demon gates, and he was actually observing this cross. And he had noted that. I'm honoring a grave. And you can see Mika, that's his wife and Gray's mother, and he had Mika and Gray's name there. You know, he assumed his son died too. And he was crossing Gray's name out because he saw him at the Grand Magic Games. So, I love it, man. Beautiful. So, Juvia continues her battle with Keys with a nice ass shot after all this, after all these somber moments. And Silver's actually speaking to her, I guess telepathically. He says, "Are you Gray's girlfriend?" Juvine! So, he tells Juvia to destroy Keys, the necromancer, so that he can rest in peace. So, they continue their battles here, and everyone's, you know, they're holding their own. And Lucy's still down for the count from her battle against Jackal in the last volume. But they're going at it. And Juvia's, for the sake of her love, Gray-sama, she's just, oh man, look at her go. But Keys gets the upper hand and has her restrained and pretty much absorbs her body. And also, he summons these like other skeletons. Like you saw, because Lucy's down for the count. There's this fucking skeleton that starts attacking Lucy. So everyone's getting distracted. And Juvia gets like absorbed into fucking Keys here. And they're like, well, no, where'd Juvia go? What happened? That was the first. The fairies have fallen. Ho, ho, ho. But what happens is he's like, no, what's going on? And there's all these movements going on inside him. And Juvia just busts right out and destroys them. No matter what becomes of them, their love will stay in each other's hearts. We believe in the power of love. So Keys was defeated. She got absorbed by him and then just busts right out. And all those skeletons just disappear. And Silver says, it's for the best, thank you. Sir, young lady, you've allowed me to pass on after all these years. You've stopped the face bombs. Sorry, I completely skipped over that. But, you know, him being the necromancer, he's also kept that stupid former council member alive who, you know, activated the original face bomb. And he was using his reanimated corpse to sort of trigger all these other face bombs, the 3,000 or so. So that was the other side plot that I sort of skipped over. But I was talking about the Gray and Silver thing so much. So anyway, Silver disappears and into the other world and passes on. So with him passing on, he gives the Ice Demon Slayer ability to Gray. And you see it right on his arm here. As a Demon Slayer, I'm going to take down END. So, incredible, man. Absolutely loved it. I like this in the back here, too. It's sort of like an RPG where it shows, like, the levels and HP and everything of all the demon gates. And obviously, Mardgear is the most powerful with his HP and attack and everything. And the next most powerful is Silver. And then after him, who would be after him? I guess Kyoka? Interesting. And then there's a lot of fan art back here. Normally there's like one page of fan art, but here there's quite a few. I think these are all of Mashima's assistants, actually, who did the little pieces themselves. So just a beautiful volume, man. Incredible. Absolutely loved it. You know, the whole Gray thing. I skipped over one thing, you know, because it was so incredible. But I did want to show you this, one of the chapter covers. Because goddamn, dude, look at Kana. I guess it's canon that she wears the thong, huh? But this was just so emotional, man. Absolutely incredible. And we'll see what happens next time. Because we got all those face bombs, which I guess have been postponed. And of the four, you know, we had Keys, Silver, Turafazar, and Tempester. Two of them have been defeated now. So it's just Tempester and Turafazar versus Natsu and Gajeel. And then you got Mardgear. And then I guess Kyoka's still around, isn't she? I think she's still alive. So, Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Have a great day, everybody.